Hey guys, thanks for tuning in. Joe here. Today I'm coming at you with another long session, just like we do with the group classes. I'm going to lead us through a warm up, some balance exercise, silk pulling, a few basic techniques, and then I'll walk us through the steps of the simplified Tai Chi set. Nothing to it. Let's find our spot. Before we get to our spot, come on now, hit that subscribe button and find our centered state. Lift on up from above the crown of the head. From there, find that sinking feeling from the top down through every part of the body, the face, forehead, temples, jaw. We can let the eyelids rest half closed or fully if that helps us to settle down. Rest the tongue as close as we can to the roof of the mouth without touching is ideal. And if we want to work that microcosmic orbit up the back, around the top of the head, down the front, completing a circuit around, we can go on ahead. All right, let's roll around through the neck some as we settle on down. Find the shoulders, down the arms, down the back. Into the tailbone and hips, level off from the hips up top. Find that breathing in and out through the belly, in through the nose, out through the nose. Reach beyond the reach through the hands, the fingertips. Settle down the legs, remain springy into the feet. Glide forward on the ankles some. Find that position of sinking into the ground beneath the feet. Before we rebound back up, press into the ball of the foot, behind the big toe, behind the little toe, and the heel equally. Take a second for it to settle in. All right, let's giddy up onto knocking the gate, swing the arms around. Keep the hips level and stable. Just a walking pace. Drive the movement from the shoulder blades, from the shoulder across to the opposite hip. We want to feel a bit of a springy tautness. Swing the arms all the way around behind the back and give it a little knock on the spine, between the hips. We can aim for the kidneys if we need some attention to that region of our body, or any part of the other body that we can reach or that we need extra attention to healing up or straightening up. We can put our mind there. Bring the hands here on the front and continue around behind the back. Again, just at a walking pace, knocking the gate, or knock the gate. Up over the shoulders. You know, you could do this one sitting down too. Even if you got a back on your chair, you may not be able to swing them all the way around behind your back. You can still bring them up over the shoulder or in front. Modify with what you got. And do the exercise as best as you can. All right, after a good amount, let them drop. You know, it's rare to be out here recording a class outside in November, but here we are. Bring the arms up here. Embrace the tree. Stay full here, and we'll turn side to side. Just like we would holding an object against the arms and body. Driving again from the shoulder blades. Keep the hips stable. Aim to feel a springy tautness from the shoulder across to the opposite hip. All right, now the next time we're in the middle, keep the knees a bit bent and we'll stretch out right down the middle. Let the arms hang. Let the head hang. Move around through each bone down the neck. Down the back. Find our range of motion from the tailbone and hips from here. As well as, if we would like, we can apply visualization with our breath, releasing any negativity with the exhale out, the aches and pains, soreness, illness, injuries we may be recovering from. This works for the non-physical as well, you know, any negative thoughts and feelings we may be holding on to, any negative habits that we may be in possession of, any stress and tension, anything like that. Let them go with the breath out. Remove it from the mind and body with each breath out. And we're breathing in healthy, revitalizing breath. With the exhale in. Inhale back in. Let's unfold on up from here. Stay full in the arms so as we can roll up the spine behind the ribs, as well as lifting up from the shoulder blades, base of the skull, crown of the head at the end. One more time, let's take the plunge. Keep the knees a little bit bent so as we can keep this stretch from the neck down with the head and arms hang. We can move around through each bone on the way down. Find the tailbone and hips, as well as visualization with our breath. Releasing negativity with the exhale out. Filling, rejuvenating with the breath in. All right, unfold up from here. Stable in the hips, full in the arms. Roll up the front of the spine, as well as lift from the shoulder blades, base of the skull, crown of the head at the end, before we let them go. All right, let's focus on the hips. Next, we'll bring our feet a little bit more than shoulder widths apart, sit down into them. Find the inside of the hip here, so we can split the body up and down and draw in to one side of the hip. By drawing in, we refer to that as closing of the hip. Return to the middle to open up, and then we'll close to the other side here. Roll from the ball joint. Make the movement inside of the body as we can. Slow and controlled through the range. Stay stable here on the outside. Don't let the hips up here move as best as we can. Try not to twist and turn up here from the waist above. We're working on the hips and legs down here. And the big picture for this hip movement is we want to reintroduce this closing of the hip into our step as we're taking our steps around through the linked set or in our day-to-day activities. We can develop this habit as the heel is coming down, closing the hip in this way. And shifting our weight from the hips and core from inside. We can go back and forth as one's opening, one side's closing. Or, once the hips are under control, you can express in movement patterns as you're only limited by your creativity. All right, after a good amount, we can bring the feet shoulder width apart. And next we'll work the ankles forward and backward to the edge of the balance, glide in front. Oh, you know what? Let's get a side view of this one going on. Just glide to the front as far as we can without letting the foot come up. The same thing behind us as far as we can without letting the foot come off. From the ankle, forward and backward, establish that range. Take a few times through this range of motion to become shorter and shorter. Until we return back again to that centered state. All right, I'll turn to face us once more. And we'll work the ankles side to side to the edge of the balance. edge of the balance the other side. Keep both feet underneath us. Take a few from here. Settle on back down. Shorter and shorter to that centered state. Lastly, from the feet and ankles below, we'll move around any way. Find the toes, the sides of our foot, the parts of our foot that we do not normally have an occasion to work or put our weight down onto throughout our day-to-day activities, and just find and test the edge of our balance around our entire base. Slow and controlled through our range of motion. This is a great one to do outside, just sway along with the leaves. We still got leaves in November down here in the Kansas City area. Ain't that something? We'll take a few times from here to settle on down. Back to that centered state. All right. Here we'll practice balancing on one leg. We'll find the hip underneath us. If we got it, close into the hip just like we were doing before. If not, we can still sit down into the heel, glide forward on the ankle some. Find this opposite heel coming up. Hold there and lift that foot by simply flexing the ankle. Aim to feel this teeter-tottering feeling. The more we're lifting up this foot, the more it's driving our weight down the support leg. If we feel a rebounding back up from the ground, from the support leg underneath us, you got it. That's it. Ride along with it. Don't fight it. If we want more, we can drive up here, right up the middle from the knee. Just be careful. A little goes a long way when you're increasing the resistance up from the knee, driving down the support leg. After a good amount, whatever is a good time for what you're working with today, set them on down. And do the same thing to the other side. Find first closing from the hip to shift the weight. Further, we can sit down into the heel and glide forward on the ankles as we would about to step. Find that position where the heel is popping up. Hold there and simply lift the foot by flexing the ankle. Find that teeter-tottering. The more that we are lifting the foot, the more it's driving down the support leg. And if we want more from there, right up the middle, again, be careful. A little bit goes a long way when we're lifting up from the knee. Right then, after a good amount, we can set her on down. Well, what do you say? We'll do one more on each side. Close into the hip. Come on, everything that we were doing before. And you know what? If you're feeling good with your balance, strong with your balance, and you want to up the resistance even more, we can dip down the support leg gently. Just be careful, we're only dipping halfway or so down. This is for all them new subscribers out there. Let's have some fun for the new players. Halfway down or so. Hey, what do you know? We still got it. And before we hit that point of no return, come on back up. All right, let's do the other side. Same thing. Find the inside of the hip, sit on down, glide forward. And you know what? Wait a second. Make sure you're not standing on any sticks hiding down there. All right, we're ready. Close into the hip, sit on down, glide forward. Come on up from the knee if you want even more. And you're feeling strong and confident in your balance, we can dip down the support leg. Again, if you're still watching and you ain't subscribed, hit that subscribe button. Right here. We still got it. And come on up before we hit that point of no return. And set them on down. All right, now that we're getting warmed up, I'm going to lead us through another silk pulling exercise. But this is only for the Patreon subscribers, so get on that Patreon. The link is right here. Thanks so much for tuning in, and we'll catch you next time.